שלום על זה סיינה לאור מן יובי עזר ממדנו ישראל שמע דבר צליתן למד רגלך עליון משמרח אין לו יון בלישון שמע ישראל אדנו שמרח אדנו צל רדיات ימין חיים השם שלו יקק וירך בלל אדנו שמרח מכל רע ישמר זם שח אדנו שמע ציסרו ויחו מעטו וידו לום. Dear friends, let's take some tzedakah, throwing in the pushka together, ba'achtus, learning together, davening together, praying together, giving tzedakah together. The togetherness itself brings the greatest blessing. And obviously, greatest blessing is what? This Moshe Rabbeinu was pleading with God. The beginning of the parsha of this week says the Torah, "V'eschanan el Hashem be'Yisrael lemer." Moshe Rabbeinu relates that I was begging God. I entreated God, please let me go to Eretz Yisrael. Ebrono ve'eretz ha'oretz ha'toiva. Please let me cross and see the good land that is on the other side of the Jordan. The good mountain and the Lebanon. So it says over there, what are we talking about? The good mountain is Jerusalem. Halevonon says Rashi, this refers to the Beis Hamikdash. Moshe Rabbeinu is begging God, please let me go see Jerusalem, let me go see the Beis Hamikdash. How many times did he pray? Says the Balaturim, Keminyan v'eschanan. The numerical value of Eschanan, 515 times he prayed to God. The fascinating medrash. Medrash says that when Moshe Rabbeinu saw that the decree is sealed, that God is not acquiescing to his prayers, says the medrash, he drew a circle and sat inside and he said, I'm not moving from here until you nullify the decree. Then he wrapped himself in sackcloth and covered himself with ashes. In other words, representing the Churban, representing the mourning. And he says, please God, let me enter Eretz Yisrael. And it had such an effect on the heavens, as it says, that the whole world started to tremble. That the angel said, maybe this is the time of the destruction of the world. And the Medrash continues, says, what did God do at that time? He announced to every gate of every heaven and every gate of every court that Moshe Rabbeinu's prayer should not be admitted. Because Moshe Rabbeinu's prayers were very, very powerful. To the point as God says, Hanach, enough. Moshe Rabbeinu said, if you don't let me come in as Moshe, if you don't let me come in as a human being, let me come in as a beast, he says. As a beast of the field which grazes on the grass and drinks water and sees the world that way. I'm ready to let my soul be one of these just to be able to enter. And God said, enough, Hanach. Moshe Rabbeinu tried again. It says, let me come as a bird that flies in the air on all four corners of the earth to collect its feed. And in the evening it returns to his nest. Let my soul be as one of these. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu, and God said, enough. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, Yosef merited his bones to be buried in Israel. Why can't I? And God said, Yosef, when he was introduced, Ivri, that we have a Hebrew lad over here, Yosef didn't deny it. He says, yes, I am a slave. I came from Hebrews. In your case, when the daughters of Israel introduced you to Israel, says Ish Mitzri, an Egyptian, you didn't deny it. You kept Ish Mitzri. And therefore, you stay here. What does all this represent? Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to bring about the Geula. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to be the redemption. And God said, it's not the time yet. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, so let me come just as a nobody. Unknown. I should just see it for myself. Either like a beast or like a bird. And God said, no. There is no such a thing as Moshe Rabbeinu not coming to Eretz Yisrael and not it being the time of redemption. And God said, the people aren't ready yet. So in the meantime, you stay with the Mitzrim. Meantime, you stay with the generation that passed in the desert, which is Ish Mitzri. People came out of Egypt, and most of them, as we know, stayed in the desert. And Moshe Rabbeinu stayed with them. As a faithful leader, he must stay with them. But eventually, says the Eibishter, see from far. Not just from far in distance, but from far in time. The time will come when your soul, will be entering into Moshiach, the Moshe Rabbeinu of our present generation, and then you will come here as the Redeemer, Moshe who Goyel Rishon, Moshe Goyel Acher. Moshe is the first Redeemer, and he's the last Redeemer. Let this happen right now.